Let's thank the Blue Men for showing up here today. Great job by the Jags defense. So long from Jacksonville, Florida.
All right, Tom McCarthy, we will now take you to the contest, Buffalo at Miami. And in that contest, Miami's up 21-17, 3:30 left in regulation. Let's join the announcers at that game, Andrew Catalan and James Lofton.
The catch into Buffalo territory, and he's going to be just shy of a first down. Bills cut a...
Which is the 9th of the season and their 9th in a row since starting the season at 0-3. Our final score, 29-13. Coming up next, the State Farm postgame show for Trent Green, Bruce Arians, Melanie Collins. Greg Gumbel saying so long from Houston. Let's take you to James Brown in New York.
All right, Greg, so now the Texans have won 5 straight over Cleveland. That's their 9th straight win. They improved to 9-3. Let's take you out to Buffalo at Miami. Join that game, 1:44 left in regulation. Miami up 21-17. Let's join Andrew Catalan and James Lofton.
Miami Dolphins is that...
And that certainly helped them that Indianapolis lost to Jacksonville. This gives a little more separation against them. Jackson throws for 125, runs for 75 and a touchdown. And the Ravens win at 26-16. Coming up next, State Farm postgame show. Right now, let's go to James Brown in New York.
All right, Jim, so Baltimore gets it done, giving up the fewest points in the league. Again today, only 16. They're giving up only 18 on the season. Let's take it to Buffalo at Miami. 1:05 left in regulation. Buffalo trailing by 4. Andrew and James.
Bills have to get to the 19-yard line for a first down. Allen dancing out of the pocket, chased by Quinn, nowhere to go. Allen goes back the other way, picks up a block. Allen now fires towards the end zone, and it is incomplete. Playoff hopes alive, and they host New England here next week. Final score from Miami Gardens, the Dolphins 21, the Bills 17. Coming up next, it's the State Farm postgame show. So for James Lofton, our entire crew, this is Andrew Catalan saying so long from Miami. And we'll send you back to New York for all the scores and highlights coming up right after this. The Dolphins hold on.
The Denver Broncos have won 3 straight games as they have fought their way back to 500 and thrusting themselves back into the postseason conversation in the AFC. 2 old friends, Vance Joseph, Marvin Lewis, embrace as Cincinnati has fallen to 5-7. They lose A.J. Green to the foot and have now lost 4 straight games. Final score, Denver 24, Cincinnati 10. Now for Adam Archuleta, Spiro Dita saying so long from Cincinnati. Coming up the State Farm postgame show next on CBS.
For the Giants, Odell Beckham Jr. does his part. Here he takes a toss from Eli Manning, acts like a running back, but then throws like an elite quarterback. A wide-open Russell Shepard on the receiving end of 49 yards of giant trickery and pure joy.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
So for those of you who are watching the Denver Broncos-Cincinnati Bengals game, Denver looking impressive, getting it done, winning 24-10 over the Cincinnati Bengals. And Coach was talking about coaches that put their jobs on the line. That certainly has been talk up until now with Denver.
Well, here we go. We got the Colts down in Jacksonville. Andrew Luck has this pass intercepted by D.J. Hayden. And this time with 9 seconds to Eric Swoop. He does not get out of bounds. Time runs out. Tom Coughlin, oh my gosh, is he excited. Jacksonville 6-0 over the Indianapolis Colts. And hey, it was all about the Jaguars defense today. Andrew Luck got sacked, didn't get people open down the field. That's just one of the reasons why they lost 6-0.
Jags D got it done big time for sure with 3 sacks, 2 forced fumbles. Boomer, the AFC South.
The AFC South, I'll tell you what, is under control of the Houston Texans right now, especially with the way that Deshaun Watson is playing. Yeah. Everybody thinks, okay, he's going to run all over the place. But I got to tell you, out of the pocket, he's about as good as there is right now playing in the NFL. He's throwing touch passes. He's reading the defenses. This kid has really taken this, I would say, this team over. It's his team. Yeah. But thankfully, they do have a great defensive line that they can fall back on if they don't run the ball and he's not on. So this team is about as good as there is when it comes to balance. They run the ball well, he throws the ball well, and they have a quality defensive line.
And that's what it is. The quality defensive line put pressure on the quarterback, but also the defensive backs made plays. It seemed like they were there draped all over the wide receivers. The PBUs were there. You see Tyrann Mathieu getting involved. For me, it is about the balance. It is about Deshaun Watson controlling the narrative of every game with his legs, also with his arm. Playmakers making plays. DeAndre Hopkins, the 50-50 catch. Let's just say what we call 50-50 for wide receivers, which means I have a 50-50.
It's 75-25.
It's 70. Thank you, Coach. That's exactly what I was about to say. DeAndre Hopkins is the best when that ball's in the air, being aggressive at the point of attack. But boom, like you said, it's a fully balanced offense, defense, and special teams making plays.
You know, last year they turned the football over. They couldn't take the ball away. This year it's been about the turnover takeaway ratio, and they have been on the positive side of that. A lot to do, as you just talk about, is this defense, the Paul Hawk. Again, you can see the pressure on the quarterback in tune with the back end of this right now. I'll tell you, when you get pressure like that as a DB, you get confidence. You jump things right there. You saw Jonathan Joseph jumping, and all of a sudden the quarterback starts throwing the ball a little errant. You can see the feet in the pocket. You're not comfortable. When you mix that with playing on the back end, that's where you come up with the takeaways, and that's what they have right now. As you talked about it, Boone, maybe one of the most balanced teams in the league in terms of being able to run, throw, and offense, and defensively, they put pressure on you.
Yeah, you look, Deshaun Watson's going to take sacks. Boomer's right. He moves to throw now instead of moving to run. You know, we watched Josh Allen for the Buffalo Bills. He moves to run. He had a big day today, but also, you know, the offensive line, it's not a great pass protecting line, but they can run block really well. And once again, Lamar Miller, big day. And on the defensive side, I say this all the time. They got stars. And, you know, when you got stars, it makes an average group look a little better. So up front, they can make so many plays. And you saw Baker Mayfield in all those highlights. He's rushing, hurrying, and he's playing at a speed that he's not used to.
You know, the other thing about this is next week, this is a huge game between Houston and Indianapolis. Indianapolis got shut out today by Jacksonville, as we pointed out a little bit earlier. And I got to tell you, if you're Andrew Luck and you're Frank Reich, you're going, what just happened to our offense? And you're going to be stepping into the same type of environment, albeit with a much better offense that you're going to have to go against next week in Houston. So next week for Indianapolis, especially a huge game to keep pace with the Baltimore Ravens.
Instant update for Phil.
Instant update, Chicago Bears. How about this? They get the onside kick. Tariq Cohen on the reverse throws it to Anthony Miller, and it ties the game up as time runs out. What a play to run as time runs out. And it's 27 Giants, Chicago Bears 27 going into overtime. What a finish there for the Chicago Bears.
Only the 4th onside kick this year recovered by the kicking team. In this case, it would be the Chicago Bears. Chase Daniel's doing okay, not great, but I would just say, given the weather conditions over there and a couple of the turnovers that both of these teams have given, it's an exciting finish for sure.
Great at the end, Chase Daniels. I would think to say that. Struggled most of the day, couldn't find his way, couldn't get it down the field. But Chase Daniel, but he did get it down the field there at the end to tie the game up.
I just want to put a pin on the coaching success enjoyed by Bill O'Brien in Houston. Coach, because you were saying at this point in the season, you're navigating the murky waters. He had to do it earlier when they were 0-3. Just a phenomenal job for what's been done.
You know, I think there's just 2 things you have to be able to manage, I think, in the National Football League. Obviously managing adversity and getting the team back, but also managing success. Because it's so easy to get complacent in this league. And I think he's done a very good job of keeping them on edge week in and week out. And, you know, you sit there and you talk about the Indianapolis Colts. They won 3 in a row. They all 3 came at home. They went on the road today into kind of a hostile environment, and they just did not respond.
Another way of expressing that, you call that stewarding your prosperity well, and that's exactly what they've done. Hey, afterwards, it was our Melanie Collins, that is, catching up with J.J. Watt after the game.
JJ, congratulations on a dominant win in a short week. How were you guys able to contain Baker Mayfield in this Browns offense today?
I mean, the DBs did a great job today. I mean, a lot of turnovers. those are huge plays in the game. And when you can get 3 interceptions and 1 forced fumble, I mean, you're gonna have a good day at the office.
All week, Bill O'Brien's been hammering home the point that despite the win streak, you guys haven't accomplished anything yet. You're now at 9 straight. Are you allowing yourselves to kind of wrap your head around how incredible that is in the NFL?
No. You know, it's weird. This team is really, really good about just taking it 1 week at a time. Nobody's really getting a big head. Everybody just comes to work every day, and we just kind of methodically go about it. And we don't care how we win. We don't care who makes the plays. We just want to win. And when you win 9 in a row, it feels pretty good.
JJ, you guys have a 3-game lead in the AFC South now with the Colts up next, who just lost. How do you keep this momentum going?
Same way we've been doing it all year. 1 day at a time, just everybody coming into work, studying the film, going out to the practice field, getting better. It's not a fancy plan. It's not crazy. It's just work.
JJ, thanks for the time. Congrats.
Thank you.
Listening to J.J. Watt, I'm reminded what he's been through. You know, being off the field for so long, the adversity, dealing with injuries, and also Deshaun Watson dealing with injuries last year. So if those are your 2 vets that these young guys get to listen to and watch, they can calm down the players that might get a little too far ahead of themselves. Like you said, keeping your guys on edge, which to me is synonymous with keeping your guys hungry.
Yes, no question about it. I think the defense, the only thing I'll say is Jadeveon Clowney, Whitney Merciless, and J.J. Watt, for the first time, they've been healthy for a period of time.
There you
I think
go.
you're seeing the results.
You know what, though? They'll be watching 2 games this afternoon and 1 tonight. They'll be watching, obviously, the Patriots and the Vikings and, of course, the Chargers and the Steelers tonight.
Coach Cowher's point as a takeaway, managing success well. There's more to come on the State Farm postgame show after this. Back here in Studio 43 and the State Farm postgame show, we get you right back to the highlights.
All righty, guys. A lot of defense being played by the Baltimore Ravens these days. Lamar Jackson, lead option right around the corner. Watch how he reaches the football out, breaks the plane at the goal line. That's a touchdown, 7-3 right there. 131 total yards of offense as Lamar gets kicked in the face right there. As you can see that, he's all right. 131 yards of total offense for Matt Ryan, who is under siege all day long. As this Raven defense is basically asserting itself now as one of the best defenses in football over the last 4 to 5 weeks. Take a picture, fellas. You deserve it, boy. You had some game today. Lamar Jackson running all over the place, 75 yards rushing. And think about this. The last 3 games, the Ravens have rushed for a total of 716 yards since Lamar Jackson took over as quarterback.
I heard that right. And the Ravens, 3 straight wins, Phil. The Ravens D, as Boomer said, got it done. 3 sacks, 1 turnover force. Afterwards, understandably, a jubilant Baltimore locker room.
Sometimes the toughest games to win are the ones you know you should win, and the ones you have to win, and just going and getting the job done. That's what you did. That was a business-like win. And what made it a business-like win was, execution, no doubt about it, but physicality. All right, you took the game away from those guys. You took their spirit away. All right, you took their spirit away. We believe in one another, faith, and we got a lot of courage, guts. Faith and guts, man. That's what you guys are all about. But 2 amazing accomplishments. Okay. In this game. We rushed for over 200 yards again. It wasn't easy yards, okay? It wasn't like we popped one for 60 or nothing like that. It was grinded out football yards, okay? So I'm giving this to the offense. I'm going to ask Greg Roman to accept it.
Well, the Baltimore Ravens finally found out who they are. Boomer, you said it, over 700 yards the last 3 games. Who do you think the happiest person or group is on that football team?
Offensive line.
No, the defensive players. Run that ball, baby. Keep running that ball. And
I know who's unhappy.
Yes, I know. Joe Flacco, of course, is unhappy
right now.
But how about just watching John Harbaugh? You know he's about special teams, but this does not really fit who he is. And probably what deep down, that's why they drafted Lamar Jackson to turn into this type of football team. It's amazing to see him do it here late in the year with 3 straight games.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about the trickle-down effect. I mean, running the football not only helps your offensive line, but you're right, the defense, and there's a lot to be said. You go over there on the defensive side of the ball, and all they keep seeing is that clock.
Oh, man.
Like this going down, it just keeps going. And you're right, you take the spirit out of someone. As John talked about, you impose your will, Boom, as we used to talk about it. Yep. And they have been winning the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, I love the fact that he emphasized, again, we rushed for 200 yards again. win so his team
It's not a big
that.
splash play either. There was no 60-yarders in there.
No 60-yarders. They got it the tough way. But what I think about when it comes to this offense, this isn't a surprise to me, though, because when Lamar Jackson was under center before he took over the starting job, this offense averaged a couple more yards per rush, just for the simple fact that he was a threat there. So defenses have to game plan not only for whoever's in the backfield, but also Lamar Jackson, who's at quarterback, and the different run-pass options that they make.
Hey, the good news is that RG3 came in and actually played pretty well while Lamar was undergoing his concussion protocol. Let's take a look at the playoff picture right here. Kansas City is winning right now 10-0 over the Oakland Raiders. You could see Houston right there at 9-3. Technically, right now, they are in the number 2 spot, depending on what New England and, of course, what Pittsburgh do in their later games. And then Baltimore is locked in right now at 7-5, with Indianapolis losing today and Miami winning.
So when they talked about the plus that Lamar Jackson brings to that offense, afterwards, it was our Tracy Wolfson talking with Lamar Jackson.
Lamar, over 200 yards rushing today for this team. What have you guys been able to do these last 3 weeks in terms of the run game to be so successful?
You know, I want to say start with us. You know, start with the O-line, man. They do a wonderful job week in, week out, man. You know, just practicing. Even off the bye week, you know, we just came in so strong, and our run game just been increasing each and every week. So hats off to our O-line before the running backs or even me.
And how about this defense? Another statement game for them.
Yeah. Our defense playing wonderful, man. You know, I feel like they've been playing the best the second half of the season, man, and I'm loving it.
Well, they certainly have a challenge coming up when you go against Kansas City. For you, though, do you feel you made enough of a statement to be able to start next week if Joe Flacco is cleared?
Man, I just have to keep working, man. You know, there's always room for improvement, man. I don't feel like I'm at the top of my game yet, so I'm going to keep working at all times.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Well, I don't think we have to worry, Lamar. You're going to be the starter next week after 3 straight victories. And, you know, I know this for a fact, that the locker room, they love Lamar Jackson. That's a big thing. So if he pulled him out and started Joe Flacco, there'll be a revolt down there. But the other thing, too, about this Baltimore Ravens team, this, to me, because I watch them a lot, it's the most sophisticated run game in the NFL. This is just not give and go. Lamar Jackson is controlling what he wants to do with all the run plays. They got run plays designed for him, and it is as many as any team runs in the league.
It's as close to a college offense as you're going to find in the NFL today, is it not?
Yes, it is. It's even more. Just so many run schemes. And Lamar Jackson, you know, Boomer, you said how much, hey, here's a lead option play. They got a lead blocker.
How many
with
hits
the option
can he take, though, guys?
Yeah, I know. Sooner or later, he's going to take a hit. But he controls the hitting when he runs. That's up to him how many hits he wants to take. And here, this is where he gets hit to the face. We thought he might be out, but he comes back in and once again turns up the field. Now gets down because he's in control of the game when he's running the football. It's not what everybody thinks. When you pass, you get hit when you're not looking. He knows when these hits are coming when he's running with the ball.
Very good point.
I just want him to be careful.
I hear you. Know, he's exciting. He's fun to watch. You love to see these young kids like Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson and Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold and all these guys doing what they're doing. All I can tell you is just stay on the field and make sure you don't put yourself in harm's way.
Is it sustainable? That's the question.
That's the question. Correct. If he keeps getting to the ground, which I watched him the first game he played, he took one big hit and he went, okay. They didn't get hit big the rest of the time. So
guess what?
Stay that way. What?
Back to highlights.
I need more.
All right, the Broncos at the Bengals. Welcome to the Philip Lindsay Show. Here, right here, A.J. Green's going to go down, and he's going to be taken off the field. I'd be very surprised if he comes back the rest of the season. Unfortunate ending to the Cincinnati Bengals offense because they lose him and, of course, Andy Dalton. But how about Philip Lindsay today, guys? He was awesome. Look at the Jets right here.
Oh, my goodness.
As he takes off. He had 19 carries, 157 yards. He had 2 touchdowns on the day. Jeff Driscoll was sacked 4 times. I actually thought Jeff Driscoll, in place of Andy Dalton, played a solid football game. You're asking him for heavy lifting, and the Broncos now get the 6-6 as well as they are in the playoff conversation.
All right, speaking of some heavy lifting, Buffalo Bills in Miami, Josh Allen trying to do all the lifting he can. Here he is right here throwing his second TD, and this was a rope across the middle to Zay Jones. This one was good for 25 yards, 2-point conversion, good. All right, Ryan Tannehill. He's going to drop back. Who he's hitting the back of the end zone? That is Kenny Stills. That right there was the go-ahead touchdown. But check out this play right here at the end of the game. Josh Allen spinning, running, trying to make something happen. The go-ahead touchdown. Is he going to make this throw? He comes up short to Charles Clay, who was wide open. The game is over at this point. The Dolphins They win a close one, 21-17.
And improved to a mark of 6-6. Dolphins end a 2-game losing streak. Ryan Tannehill, not bad in that performance. Hey, you talk about a quarterback who's running that might also want to be careful. That's Josh Allen, correct?
Well, he's a little bit bigger. He's like 6'6", 240 pounds. Yeah. I mean, but he is a freak of an
Andrew
athlete.
Luck as well, too, but he's smartly
That's right, exactly. But I'll tell you what, they had a play at the end of the game. There's Charles Clay, who was wide open, and unfortunately, it looked like the ball slipped out of Allen's hands. They would have walked off winners had they just completed that play.
Exhaustion. I think he ran so much. He runs different than Lamar Jackson. He's always running outside from the passing game more than a run game.
Yeah, I don't know if that's sustainable, though. Even though he's big, just like you said, JB, Andrew Luck is a big fella, started to fall apart because he wasn't making smart decisions outside the pocket.
He's fun to watch.
And we'll be back with more fun as the State Farm postgame show continues.
That's the line of the day.
Talking to a...
Hey, folks, join us on Saturday at noon Eastern for the season premiere of NCAA basketball right here on CBS. 9th-ranked Michigan State heading to Gainesville to take on Florida. Then at 2:30 Eastern, it's college football today, followed by the 119th Army-Navy game. Boomer knows all about that. And it all comes your way Saturday right here on CBS. Back to Phil Simms.
Well, here we go. New York Giants, Chicago Bears. Aldrich Rojas hits a 44-yard field goal to put the Giants up 30-27 in overtime. Then Chase Daniels from his own 40. An all-out blitz, throws it down the field, doesn't throw it across enough. And Janoris Jenkins breaks up the pass. Chase Daniel, I'm sorry, I said Daniels, but Janoris Jenkins broke up the pass for Taylor Gabriel, and the Giants pull one out there at the end.
Have now won 3 of their last 4. Nate.
All right, we got the Los Angeles Rams and my Detroit Lions. Now, this game was hanging in the balance for majority of it. Matt Stafford, how about this? Tackle eligible right here. Taylor Decker gets in for the easy 11. Go ahead and toss that ball up there. That might be a final, big fella. All right, the game, 16-13 at this point, 4th quarter. But who was that? Aaron Donald. He gets after it, and Ndamukong Suh tries to pick it up because he wants to rub it in against his team. But still, the Rams recover the ball on this one. And here's Todd Gurley, who puts the icing on the cake. That was the go-ahead icing on this one. The Rams, they win 30-16. The Rams still rolling, 11-1.
All right, Coach, take a look at the NFC playoff picture.
Yeah, the Rams controlled the #1 seed, obviously, with that win and the loss by the New Orleans Saints last Thursday. And then the Chicago Bears, that loss today opens it up for the Vikings. They should be looking at that scoreboard. There'll be a little incentive to them. They're playing the New England Patriots right now, and they actually just missed a field goal attempt with New England leading 7-0. But again, the NFC North is becoming a little bit more wide open with that loss by the Bears.
It's also a good thing for the Dallas Cowboys.
I
mean, the Giants just helped the Dallas Cowboys out today. So that's a huge loss by the Chicago Bears. I mean, just a dreadful losses. The Giants have not been playing well, and it's an NFC loss, so it's a kind of a double-edged sword, too, as well.
Yeah, and you could tell that the Giants were motivated going into this game. They weren't caught up with the hype that was behind the Bears. And on the flip side, the Rams, they won a tough one again.
The Bears were not sharp. They throw the interception. Chase Daniel threw the interception early, got him behind. They couldn't recover.
You know, I think the biggest thing about this is we see now maybe that Mitch Trubisky should have been in your top 5.
Everybody
can see how important he was.
What do you call this? You see, what's that say right there?
You guys are such Monday morning quarterbacks.
I'm telling somebody about that afterwards.
Yeah, you know, but you're after the fact reactors is what you are.
The State Farm postgame show continues after this. Hey, folks, next Sunday, our Super Bowl season continues. A full slate of regional action in Week 14. Many will see a showdown between Baltimore and Kansas City. Indianapolis taking on Houston in an AFC South clash, or it'll be the Chargers hosting Cincinnati, and it all begins with the NFL today at noon Eastern right here on CBS. And we've got our pretty boy here at the end of the table, Gene Steratore, our official, who's going to help clarify some things. Bill Cowher will set it up first. And, Bill?
Well, hey, Gene, we were talking about this earlier. We had 3 helmet-to-helmet calls today. We've only had 2 in the previous 3 weeks. And I know we talked about this actually as we were getting in the dressing room. And you're just talking about how hard it really is to officiate this call. Take us through the process. It started Thursday night.
Thursday night first.
Yep, Thursday night was a big hit. I think we see that. As we discussed earlier today,
Take us through it.
In my opinion right now, and we look at the play here, with the player coming from a distance and makes that contact.
That should have been called.
That's a foul. That should have been called. And I think we all agree with the severity of that and the fact that it should be called. Now we look at the 2 or 3 that were called today. There's a lowering on the quarterback in that play. This play, I think this play's announced incorrectly, is really a hit on a defenseless receiver and not helmet contact. A foul nonetheless on this. He's defenseless. He's defenseless, head or neck area. And then we had Kiko Alonso's play, which is the tightest of all 3. In my opinion, as an official, Kiko Alonso breaks down. There's space between him and that offensive player. He's the one who makes the decision to go upward. I do agree with you to say that it's not completely on the crown, but I do think there's a chance to make a decision there where he can lower this target area a little bit.
Well, I'm a defensive coach. You know, if I sit there and tell Kiko Alonso, okay, don't lower your head, because if you lower your head, you're now going to be called for initiating contact. His head never lowered. There was contact, but it wasn't the lowering of the head initiating the contact with his helmet.
You know, Coach, and I don't disagree with that. And I know we spoke about it. And if we look again at Kiko's play, I think what we need to do as well here, guys, is be a little bit understanding and empathetic of what officials are dealing with in real time and how they're making this decision within a split second. You know, that might take us down a different path. This is a little different game for me to officiate from 10,000 feet now and seeing everything as opposed to 10 feet, of course, which is where I lived for the last 15 years. This is a very hard play to work in real time. I think the players have done a pretty good job adjusting. I think the coaches are coaching it. And I honestly think the officials have been pretty good. But it's a hard play to work in real time. So how do we get it out of the game, and what can we do to make this play enforceable?
Now, you mentioned watching it from 10 feet. Now, let's talk about the 3 feet in which all of this happens. Now, let's say Boom is the defender, and as a receiver, I'm getting ready to catch the ball. I'm running with the ball, and he gets down. He makes a decision. He's going to lower his body and hit me with his shoulder. Yes. At the last minute, what we see all the time is this receiver or playmaker cower or lower himself. Correct. And then you see the helmet-to-helmet. Defender gets up. He's saying, well, I wasn't aiming for his helmet. The receiver or the quarterback last minute tried to protect himself, which puts these guys in a bad decision. As a wide receiver, I feel like these guys are caught between a rock and a hard place every time they go to tackle somebody.
Now, Hugh left me no help whatsoever. Everybody out there, I know the quarterbacks that helped me. I knew Coach was going to go after me being defense. I thought you'd give me a little love being a wide out. But you just went ahead and you were protecting the DBs, and I get that. But we do have to remember, look, when we put defenseless receivers in 7 or 8 years ago, it is the responsibility of the defense, and they do lower their target. And look, if I tell you this is legal in the NFL and that is not, these players will go right there. Right. That's how good they are. But then your crouch changes it, and the defense is held accountable.
We also had another play today, and since you're the referee representative, we all want to scream at you.
Yeah, I like that.
At the end of the Indianapolis-Jacksonville game, Indianapolis, I think it was Eric Ebron, catches the ball on the sideline. Yeah. And it looks like he is going to go out of bounds, and we'll show you the play right here. Now, the side judge, I believe, is the one who's making the call here, basically calls an inbounds. As you can see, he keeps the clock running when we all thought the clock should have been stopped because Ebron gets out of bounds.
And it's a line judge on the play, Boom, you're right. He's behind the play. He's in the perfect mechanical spot for his position. You let the play happen in front of you. It's a judgment call on his part, and he thinks the receiver got driven backward prior to going out of bounds. Our philosophy as officials on those plays, when technically maybe he got driven back a little bit on a play like that, when time is of the essence, we like to put him out of bounds. Okay, maybe during the game with 15 minutes or 14 minutes left in the second quarter, we wind that. In this scenario, I think we want to go and put him out of bounds and keep it a stop clock. And it's a judgment call, and it cannot be reviewed because the ruling on the field was forward progress.
Anybody else want to scream at him for something or no?
No, I won't tell him Makeup to come in here because he's sweating over there.
Well, Bill, I don't...
Check this out, fellas, and for all of you running quarterbacks, right? A new member of the 1,000-yard rushing club.
Oh.
That would be Mr. Tom Brady.
Tom Brady.
5 yards. How long did it take him to get there, fellas?
Let's see, 19 years.
No, this is a very, very exclusive club. Very few of us are a part of this. So now I want to.
By us? Do you mean yourself?
Yes. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, wait. What about, you're not even going to include me? I didn't realize. I didn't look at your stats.
Hey, let me just say this as we head to commercial break. Yes. You are about as cool as they come. And you mentioned before, no matter what Bummer does to your chair, you said moving from college to the pro level was what? A whole...
It's another sport, Jay.
You should pay Boomer.
Get it right, Gene. Get it right. Gene's territory does a nice job. Hey, buddy, congratulations. If you're dealing with Coach, no doubt. More to come when the State Farm postgame show continues after this.
This is the State Farm postgame show.
And welcome back to the State Farm postgame show. Tonight on CBS begins with 60 Minutes and an unbelievable new video and stories from California's mega fires, plus a moving tribute to President George H.W. Bush, followed by country music sensation Garth Brooks live at Notre Dame and NCIS Los Angeles. That's tonight only on CBS. Coach, back to the highlights.
Yeah, here we're going to see right now, we're going down there in Tampa Bay, and it was Jameis Winston. What a day. He had 20 of 30, 249 yards, 2 touchdowns. This one here to Chris Godwin in the back of the end zone from 13 yards out. And then Peyton Barber will take this handoff, and he's going to take it up. You're talking about the number 1 offense in the National Football League, folks. Yes, that's right, the Tampa Bay Bucks. And also the other side, it was Cam Newton picked off 4 times, 3 times by this man. He had 3 on the day, that being Andrew Adams. Yeah, that's what I said.
The hat trick, Coach?
Andrew Adams, AA, had 3 interceptions on the day, 4 for Cam on a total, and the Bucks upset the Carolina Panthers. I guess it's an upset, I think. 5-7.
All right, let's go Arizona Cardinals, Green Bay Packers. Here we go. Check out Chase Edmonds. Starts inside, and he cuts outside for the touchdown right there. That would make it 17-10. Same score. Aaron Jones gets an 8-yard TD right there. That would tie it up. But here we go. Mason Crosby. He misses a 49-yarder to tie the game. The Cardinals, yes, I said the Cardinals beat the Green Bay Packers 20-17. Woo. Seems like Aaron Rodgers might be packing up his season.
Cardinals end a 9-game losing streak in Green Bay and a 3-game losing streak period in getting that. Folks, we are thrilled to have back our NFL Today insider. That will be Jason La Canfora. He's got some news for us, and hopefully Boomer will leave him alone at his height.
Yeah, I'm challenged enough, Boom. Both those games actually led me where...
You chew off more than what you actually bargained for, because you might be hitting the reset button on more things than just the head coach.
You know, sometimes you get caught in the heat of the emotion, and I just would caution all the owners to take a step back, because sometimes, look in Green Bay, it's just been a myriad of situations that have taken place. Mason Crosby, one of the most successful kickers and consistent kickers, has failed. The defense has had injuries. Aaron Rodgers has not been able to connect with Aaron Jones, not utilizing him. So, you know, they've lost some tough games. This was a game they should have won, no doubt about it. But, you know, I just caution you, because, like you said, it can set you back.
Yeah, you know, also, the other thing is, too, sometimes change is good. Yeah. You know, I look at Mike McCarthy and go, look, if he gets let go of Green Bay, he's going to get a job somewhere right away. And I think it actually would be good for him to get a new setting, to get a new team, and dictate what he really wants and have more control of the organization. I think it will be good for Mike McCarthy if he gets let go.
A lot of times, the dynamic that's inside the building, we don't know. We can only speculate on that, because I think that has a lot to do with it. And again, you're right. Sometimes a split may be in the best interest of both parties.
I'd go back to what you said before, though. The coaches know they've got the right guy in place, and you bear with them. The Steelers have had how many coaches in the last 50 years? 3. Hey, folks, that wraps it up for us. We'll see you next week right here, Nate, where?
So that goal you've been saving for, you can do